Good morning or good evening. Hi, hi. Hey, Della. Hey, Dondi. Hey, Julia. Enjoy. Hey, Tracy. Marcia's here. Hi, Jermaine. Good to see everybody. Looks like we get lots of sun in lots of places. Seeing it mostly bright for most folks. Yay. Awesome. Well, I think I recognize most names. If anyone is here for the first time, please feel free to turn on your monitor so we can see who we're talking to. Otherwise, you are welcome to stay without a camera on you if you are in a compromising position or would rather not be seen in this moment. Um, Marcia, are you in your kayak? I don't remember who took us in their kayak or not. But she's outside. We can't hear you at the moment because you got your mute on.
Um, I'm not in my kayak today, and it probably wasn't me, but I do kayak.
Okay. I can't remember who it was, but one of you would take us along in your kayak with you, and that was really fun.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the Upper Mojave Desert near the Eastern Sierra, so I'm just across the street from where I live, and I've joined a couple times, but not a lot. Mainly for the love of birds. But sometimes I'm someplace where I can't put the camera on, or because I work, but my
Oh,
schedule's different right now. So I joined last week, and I'm here this week. So
awesome. Great to
yeah,
have you back. So nice to
yeah.
see you. All right. So let's everyone go ahead and find a comfortable position wherever you are. And I'll tell a little story before we get going while folks are rolling in here. It's sort of the inspiration for today's sit. And just let you all know, as you know, I usually love to be outside myself, but we're having, although it looks kind of still right now, rats. It was really windy earlier, and I was like, oh, they're never going to be able to hear me with all that wind and stuff. So I chose to come inside. But now, of course, it's looking like there's like no wind at all. Anyway, it's nice to do it from inside sometimes too. So, uh, yeah, I just wanted to welcome everyone. First of all, thanks for coming. If this is your first time, it's a pleasure to have you. If this is your, I don't know, we've been doing this a lot. If this is your 60th time, then it's good to see you. So nice to spend the Monday morning, Monday evening, depending on where you are, with you. And what inspired me for this, the focus of this sit today, is something I did yesterday. We had a duck ramble here, which is where we had a guy take us out, and he took us all around the local Audubon club to look at ducks yesterday afternoon. But before then, I went out really early in the morning, right around sunrise, to see what might be on the lake in the morning, because he was taking us out in the afternoon. I thought, oh, it'd be fun to compare, you know. And I was sort of drawn to go to this part of the lake that was relatively quiet. I don't usually go to this particular part. You have to walk down a trail to get there and whatnot. But that's where I was guided to go, so I just listened and I went. And I stood there and I walked down to the lake, and I walked really close, slowly, of course, as you all who know me know that I would do. So I walked slowly, approached the lake, looked around, and I saw a great blue heron kind of off in the distance. And then I saw two swans. And that was it. There was like nobody else on the lake. And I was like, this is crazy. There should be, we had really good weather for it, and there just should be a lot more ducks, I thought, on the lake. And then it just dawned on me, and I thought to myself, because I have a lot of background and training from different elders that I've worked with over the years. And I thought, you know what I just did? I just came down here to take, I just, that was the feeling I had, that I was like, what can this lake give me? Like, I'm here to see the birds. I want to see the birds, And I noticed that happens sometimes where, for myself and I know others, that will approach something and just want to go get what we want, right? And so instead of that, I thought, okay, let me just take this moment and do what I know to do, which is to give something and to offer, whether it's gratitude or whatever. In that moment, it was a song. So I was trained, taught by different teachers about, certain songs you can sing in the morning, or to the water, to the lakes, to the birds, to the sky, whatever it is. And so I sang a song as a gift or an offering, and just thought about all the birds that were traveling in that time. Whether, maybe there weren't geese on the lake in that moment, but they were on their way to there or from there, and just thinking of everyone who's moving around right now. So it just got me thinking of as birders, people who love birds, how often we go to a place, even if it's just right our own backyard, and think like, all right, where are they? Like, let me see them, you know? I want to see them. So today I thought it would be nice for us to take some time to get to know the ones, whatever it is that we're looking at today, and and find out what they might need or what they might want, and just take a moment to connect with our place in a little bit of a different way. So to start us off, go ahead and find a nice place to sit wherever you may be, whether it's inside or outside, and put your feet on the earth if you can, on the ground beneath you, where you can just imagine your connection with the earth below. Even if you're many stories above the earth is still below our feet. And if you're outside and can feel the actual earth underneath your feet, if you want to take your shoes off, that's great too. So let's just take a moment to be still and feel our feet on the earth. And as you're doing this, you're connecting with your feet right now. Go ahead and find a point off in the distance to focus on, somewhere that's as far as you can possibly see, just one point, and let your eyes really focus on that point right now. But don't forget your connection with the earth through your feet. And then go ahead and allow your vision to expand. So you're still focusing on that one point in front of you, but you're also allowing the rest of your peripheral vision to come into focus, per se, but just to become into your awareness. So now you can see things all around you, but you're still looking at that one point. And then just notice what happens inside your body, your mind, to your breath. That's great. And now, whether you're inside or outside, doesn't matter. Take a nice deep breath and smell the air. Notice what might be different on this day compared to the last time you sat. And just notice the rhythm of your breath. So, is it relaxed and steady? Is it shallow? Is it deep? Do you feel it all the way down into your toes, even? And now allow your breath to connect with that of the earth. So, feeling the breath of the earth rise all the way through your soles of your feet, all the way up your body to the crown of your head, and then let it go. And try that one more time. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you're exhaling this time, just allow any tension, anything you might be holding on to, any stories or things you're pondering in your brain, just let those all release in this moment. You can pick them back up when you're done. But for right now, for this little time that we're together, let's just let that go. And now bring your awareness to your ears while you're still connected to the sense and what you're seeing in your eyes, what you're feeling inside your body. Allow your ears to become the focal point right now. Noticing the sounds that are very close to it. Maybe you can hear your hair brushing against your earlobes. And then slowly expand your awareness of your hearing out into the world. And imagine that it's just a spiral. So like imagine you're right close to your ear, and then just very slowly you're just spiraling your awareness out further and further and wider and wider. You can go nice and slow with that. This is a really fun practice to try on your birding superpowers if you are inside right now, to see what you can hear through your walls. If you have your windows open, that's wonderful. If you don't today because it's too cold or too windy, just see what you can hear through the walls. Can you hear, if you maybe can see the trees moving outside, can you hear that sound through the walls? Maybe it's not the actual wind, maybe it's the vibration on the house, whatever it may be. Just notice if there's any sounds from the outdoors that are coming in right now. And now, with all these senses combined, with everything connected, one is not taking precedence over the other. Go ahead and find something, whether it's a sound that draws your attention to it, or whether it's something in your vision, whatever it may be, or maybe it's a smell that guides you in a particular direction. But I'd like you to find just something that you can spend a few moments looking at for a little while and giving your attention to. So just choose one thing. It could be a bird, it could be a tree, it could be a plant, whatever it may be. Just spend a few moments and get to know this one that you're looking at. So, as if you were going to introduce yourself to this bird or tree or plant. And then maybe you might ask it questions like, you know, where'd you spend the night last night? What are you like? What's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? And then see if you can, yeah, so we'll focus on that right now. Get to know that one that you're looking at in this moment. And as you're getting to know this one, look at the shape of whatever you're looking at, noticing all the details of the shape and the different colors, the different shades of color that might be on this one that you're looking at. Notice if it has a particular behavior or movement. It might be something you didn't notice before. How big is it? How small is it relative to other ones around? Just keep going with those questions while you're sitting there getting to know this one. And now you're still going to focus on that one that you were looking at, but if you haven't done so already, start to ask yourself what kind of relationships this one is in. So, how is it in relationship to maybe the birds of the area or the other plants, maybe the mammals? Does anyone, if it's a tree, does anyone use this tree? If it's a bird, does anyone else relate to it or connect with it? So just get to know the relationships that this one has. Good work. And now we're going to shift our attention a little bit, still to this one. But now I'd like you to ask if you feel like you'd like to do this. This is just an invitation, of course. You don't have to play along if you don't want to. But if you'd like to, you can ask this one what it needs or wants or enjoys. So, what if there was something that you could give to this one? What might it want? And so, just put that question out there, and then we'll just stay in sort of a welcoming state, in a state of allowing. Just allow whatever comes to come. It might be a word, it might be an image, it might just be a sound or a feeling. So just notice what comes when you ask that question. And now for the next little while, go ahead and, if you'd like to, shift your attention away to something else. But all the while, just remember that this one that you've gotten to know a little bit more deeply right now is there. So it's like a new friend that is hanging out with you and doing this bird sit with you right now. So maybe the two of you are going to enjoy this moment together. And so now just go ahead and expand your awareness. Maybe look around you and enjoy this moment and just see where your attention is drawn. So, for those of you who had a response when you asked the one you were looking at what it is they need or they want, you don't have to do it in this moment, but just remember what that was. And then, if you can find a way to give that gift, whatever it may be, at some point in the next day or so, maybe it will take a little bit longer. Maybe it was something you make with your hands or something like that, and it might take a bit longer to create that. Then, but do it in the shortest amount of time as possible. But go ahead and find a way to give that gift to the one. And if nothing came to you, that's fine. Doesn't always, you don't always get a response. But in our last couple moments, take this time to offer thanks in your own way and silence, or you can speak out loud as long as you're off mute or you're on mute, but whatever you want to do, offer gratitude to that one that you got to know in your own way. And whenever you feel complete, you can come together and share about our experiences. So that one was, for me, was unexpectedly profound. And I can share a little bit about my experience, but I'd love to hear from other folks what happened for you. Was there, if you tried it on, I'd love to hear from everybody, of course, but for how about those who played along and who wanted to try that out? Was there anything that you want to share at all? And I know sometimes these things are really personal, and you'd rather not speak to that, but that's okay. So, Cindy, I see that your hand is up. Yeah,
Yeah, can you hear me?
sure can.
Okay. Um, so I was sitting here on the edge of my pond watching a kingfisher. And it, you know, it landed on a stick that sticks up out of the pond, and it was quiet. It sat there, which usually they're not very quiet, and it started preening. It would stick its beak in its middle of its breast, and then tease out the feathers in its wing, and go back in the other wing, and it did that. I watched that for quite a while. I've never watched that before, and then it it sat quietly. And when you said to look around, I noticed, a great blue heron on a pole, similarly doing some preening and quiet sitting, and a red tail on top of a tree, the same thing. And um, I guess what I thought, I said, "What do you need?" And it sounded like it needed um, time and space to take care of itself and get see, rooted for the day, sort of get ready, uh, but and I that's so mine was sort of profound too. And during that time, um, my husband called and wanted to know where our pan was, and so I interrupted my whole wonderful thing for that, and then um, 5 minutes later he called again, and no, I said, to myself, I'm taking time and space in my beginning of my day. I'm on the West Coast to take care of myself and get rooted. I didn't answer it, and I just kept with my kept with it. So it was great.
Wow. 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 That is really powerful. Thank you, Cindy, for sharing all that. And I mean, just first of all, being able to watch a kingfisher just sit there and preen, and a great blue heron and a red-tailed hawk.
Mm,
Like, I mean, even any one of those would be amazing just
yeah,
to watch like that. But to receive that message from them that's incredible. And how that translated to your own life.
mm,
That was awesome.
thank you. Yeah, it was.
Thank you. For sure. Anyone else want to share? And y'all don't, it doesn't have to be profound, okay? But it's okay. Yeah, Tracy, I see your hand was up.
I do. So I was talking and thanking this. I always forget what kind it is. We have 3 palm trees in the yard, and this one is home to and shelter for all of the sparrows and house finches. The Gila woodpeckers go up there, the curvebell thrashers. We just have such a community there. And so I was thanking it just for being there and being such a just an epic, hideout for everybody, and they feel safe. But especially because we've had a juvenile Cooper's hawk come through the yard 5 times that we've seen so far, just in the past couple days, and it hasn't had any luck. It's so young, it's trying, but one of its last moves was trying to fly directly up into the palm fronds after everybody. And then I got like a short video of it looking kind of befuddled afterwards, sitting on the fence, like, what, okay, that didn't work. And he's like landed at the bird bath, and he's just had a time trying to figure out how to, but it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Usually they don't come this close. We've got a post about 1 block over, and that's where they view the yard and decide where to hunt. So having somebody come and visit all the time. But yeah, I was thanking our palm tree for keeping everybody safe and just being such a beautiful, I've never had palm trees, and it's really a gorgeous shelter and just home for everybody to hang out. So I'm really glad it's here, and I'm glad we have a new visitor too. It's very exciting.
Heck yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I remember you sharing last time about your palm tree and all the little ones that get to reside in it. So
Yeah. I'm
awesome.
glad it's there now, because he's like, okay, no, that's not working.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. All right, anyone else want to share a story? Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Okay, so I was looking at a tree as well as an aspen tree in our backyard, and I just love it because it always looks like aspens have little eyes where branches could have grown but don't grow. So anyway, so I was looking at this aspen tree, and blue jays were around, and there's some mourning doves that flew in, and they all flew around this tree and landed in some of the branches. We don't have any leaves, and it's very cold now here. Winter has really set in. But I felt when I asked it what it wanted or needed was this strong feeling of companionship, but just very comfortable companionship, like not needing anything, but just really appreciating companionship. And I thought, I felt like I was part of it. The blue jays were part of it. The mourning doves were part of it. So I just felt like this wonderful circle of companionship. So I decided that I'm going to be out here more often, see if I can't enjoy this companionship and offer companionship for this aspen tree much more often. Come out here almost every day now that it's winter. So that's what that's what I experienced, and it felt really good.
Wow, Linda. Yeah, for sure. That's relatively similar to what I experienced with thank you. I'll share mine in a little bit, but thank you. That's yeah, just to be able to hear that and then to be willing to answer that too, because sometimes it's just as simple. It's very simple often, what's needed and the gift that we can give. And I think sometimes there's different perspectives that us as humans, especially modern humans, have about our role in nature. And I think from what I've gleaned or gathered from my teachers who have I guess a longer lineage than, I mean, we all have long lineages, but I think an unbroken lineage of stories and teachings that have been passed down for many, 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 many generations.
Mhm.
There's this idea that an experience that humans have an important role to play, that there were songs that are sung at certain times of year because those are the songs that bring the cranes back, or the songs that help the corn to grow, or the songs that, and that idea of companionship, I think, is aligned with that there is a relationship that we have, and something that we can give back to those ones around us. So
Mhm.
thanks for sharing, all of you who've shared so far, just the vulnerability of what has come to you through that. Thank you. Yeah, I know for me, it was interesting. My eyes first landed on this like arborvitae that's outside my house. And I was like, I often have this, I guess, judgment that I don't realize all the time. It's like, oh, it's a domestic arborvitae. Like, it's not as cool as a wild plant or a wild tree or a wild whatever. But I was like, nope, that's where I'm guided to look right now. Just look at the arborvitae and get to know it. And then it was intense, amazing. Like, if these arborvitaes weren't here, there's a whole row of them and they're pretty big. And if they weren't here, I would see my neighbor's house. These are the trees that hosted the jay's nest this year, and last year as well. And often the trees where all the birds run for cover when there's something that quickly comes in the yard, they all ditch it to the arborvitaes. And at the root of these trees also were where the foxes built their den. There's big boulders over there too, and I just thought, wow, there's just so much that the arborvitaes are providing right now and just giving of themselves. And it was a similar kind of thing as what Linda was saying, that when I asked what they need, it felt like the acknowledgement of just, not that they need the acknowledgement, but just sort of that, like just a little gift, like remembering them as I remember other ones, that they didn't necessarily ask to be here, but they're here and they just give so much. And sometimes I put little offerings out for various ones, and now I'll start to remember the arborvitae when I do that. Yeah. Anyone else want to share anything that came to them or stories from the morning? Yeah, go ahead, Jermaine. Oops.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
I well, I'm in Maine, and it's been a lot of like a long Indian summer here, very warm most of the days, and sunny a lot of the time. And, I've been going around to all my little plants. I have a pink rose bush that usually does bloom in November. and it keeps blooming till November. Little pink flowers. And then there's a yellow one that I have that I just got at the grocery store, and it just keeps putting out flowers. And it had like 6 buds on it at the beginning of the week, like about 5 or 6 days ago. And I said, I wonder if they'll make it or if it'll get too cold for them to open. And that kind of thing. I've been going around sort of thinking about the extended warm time and maybe a little bit grasping onto it. And then I was looking at a far off tree, as you indicated at the beginning of our meditation, and thinking about some of the things it does for the animals, the branches it provides and the shelter and the windbreak and things like that. And then when I asked it what it needed, it said it needed to go dormant. It needed to sleep. It needed to rest. It needed the winter. And it was really a call, really all of a sudden that just came to me. It's like, it's time for not just the tree, but for a lot of things to take a break and restore. It's a restorative time and a more quiet and underground time, or a more, no more yellow blooms and that kind of thing. And then I thought that not only does the tree and the plants need that, but I need that myself. And I was thinking of my calendar, which always looks like a hairy caterpillar to me. It's just got this and that and that and this, and my brother needs drugs for his dog, and my friend is in hospital having surgery. And I just, I need those things too, but I need to be backed off enough where I'm getting some restorative feelings like the trees need and the plants need. So it was really, and then I looked back at my bird feeder, and everybody that had been coming and going earlier in the meditation had disappeared, but they're all back now. So they're eating like crazy because we had a pretty cold night last night. So I think the winter is presenting itself in truth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's such a good reminder too, because there is that desire. I have it too, it's like grasping onto that last warm day and like that mixed feeling of like, oh, I just wanted to like go longer, but at the same time realizing just the beauty and benefit of having the respite and that time to sleep, like we're all bears, we need that time just to hibernate for a little bit or go in torpor, and sleep, and the earth needs that too, that time to just sleep for a little bit. And I know not all parts of the world have that same kind of need for sleep, maybe in the same way. And I don't know about the plants down in like South America and whatnot, and what they do in the warmer climates. Maybe they have their own way of resting in a different way, because it feels like a very natural thing to need that rest. I'm glad that you're taking that into yourself as well. Yeah, I know for one example that came to mind when I was thinking about, when I was down at the lake yesterday and singing the song that I sang, I was reminded of my friend Dan, who some of you know, if you did the bird song class with us, you got to work with Dan Gardoki, who's an amazing birder, and he lives up in Maine. And he told this story. There was a rare bird that came, I forget what it is right now, but there's a rare bird that showed up. I think it was late winter, early spring. It's a bird that really shouldn't, it was like a desert bird. Like it shouldn't have been in Maine, and so people were like, oh my gosh, they were kind of worried about it for a little bit and, weren't sure how it was going to do. And so, but it was around for at least a week, if not longer. And so Dan went to go check it out, and he drove there and saw the bird. He was there by himself at that time. I think no one else was there at the moment. And what he decided to do was, before he left, he kicked up some of it was on the shore, on these like rocks on the shore. And I guess, I don't know all the creatures that live around the ocean, but there's like, not barnacles, but there's like seaweed and a bunch of other stuff that had like washed up on the shore. And that's what this bird was looking. It was getting some like insects and stuff in there. So before Dan left, he kind of kicked some of it up and turned it over to make it easier for the bird to find food. And I just thought how lovely that was, that again, as a birder, we often we're like, oh, there's a rare species, let's go see it. You go see the bird and then you leave. And I love what he did because he was thinking that one step beyond. It wasn't just let me get the bird, let me look at the bird, but like what can I do for this bird? You know, like what does it need right now? It's like, oh, it probably needs to have some easy food because it's in a place it's not familiar with, and you know, and it's obviously getting resources there. So he just, you know, it was very simple. Just kicked over a little bit, you know, made it easier, and then he left. He did his thing, and but that was just that stood out to me as a really beautiful offering again to that little bird. And there's all sorts of ways that people give gifts and give offerings. Sometimes it's things we make with our hands. Sometimes it's our voice. It's the songs or words that we offer, and sometimes it's just that acknowledgement, you know, of hearing the need and then just saying, all right, I can give that to you, you know, whether it's companionship or time to be quiet, whatever it may be. So thank you for listening today, everybody. And just want to see, does anyone else want to share before we close? I don't want to rush it. Yeah, go ahead, Julia, please.
It's just a thought, but maybe a gift could just be paying attention, noticing that it's there. Say, aren't you beautiful? You know, we have some fall color here, but and I really appreciate this because this time I'm really focused on looking outside my house, you know, and so you know, they say show up and pay attention. I mean, that's really a gift to them and to us too. So.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Julia. It's a good reminder. It can just be simple, right? Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for playing along, and yeah, just see what it's like to go throughout your day and this week asking that question, you know, to the ones that you encounter wherever you are. Like, what do you need? What can I give you? And see how that goes. Hey, I'm excited to see you all next week, and have a beautiful time. Enjoy the early winter, late fall.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Oh,
That was
this was
wonderful.
lovely. This was
Yeah.
so wonderful.
Oh,
It
good.
was.
you
It was
all.
wonderful.
All
Have
right.
a lovely week, all. Bye.
Have a
Bye.
good week.